Well, good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Drink it if you got it. I'm sure by now you've all heard about the dock workers' strike, if you haven't already felt the effects of it. Panic buying. So I just got back from Sam's Club. I said, well, better get out there and see what's going on. It was worse than I thought. It was worse than I thought. While there was no shortage of breakfast cereals, snacks, trash, garbage, poison, you did see it in the meat department. They had plenty of eggs, but they didn't have any of the pasture-raised stuff. Is that stuff coming through the docks? And it's only been a few days. Or was it a result of just panic buying that they were out of that? They did have some, the same box of 15 dozen that I bought the last time, but it was up from $32 to $35, and they had 2 dozen flats of cage-free, which, for what it's worth, cage-free eggs for $5 and something, about 2.5 a dozen. So I bought 8 dozen of those. And I'm going to make a little video here and put it out this afternoon, showing you what I actually bought and talking more in depth, about my observations of what's going on here this morning and whether, for our own self-preservation, we need to be out there securing enough food for ourselves. So much of the food that we maybe thought was domestic and sourced here in the United States evidently is not. So much is coming in, especially produce and meat, is coming in from South America, from Chile. There were things, for example, they were completely out of the smoked salmon that I eat. Now, I've still got some in the freezer, but the hell? Anyway, I'll talk more about that in my video this afternoon, show you what I bought, tell you how much I spent, and basically how long into the future I think that I'm pretty well set with my food supply. And basically that's the best we can do, is take care of ourselves. Take care of ourselves. And speaking of taking care of myself, excuse me while I light my cigar. I thought you would all enjoy a little happy music. And I think we need happy music and something to relieve stress these days, because it's just coming at us so hot and heavy. All the commercials you see now are either lawyers, drug companies, and best of all, misleading political ads. Especially local ones here in Florida with all these amendments. If you think you're going to learn what these amendments are really all about, you're not going to learn it from the ads. One thing I did notice this morning, and most of the ads I saw on TV, is that most of the candidates actually left off their party affiliation. It surprised me. Which means everybody's running from something. Everybody's got something they don't want you to know, instead of something they do want you to know. How can we even exist as a society with this level of corruption, lying, stealing, propaganda, fraud, scams? How the hell Can there even be a thread left to the fabric of what we call society? I wonder sometimes. I wonder sometimes. And don't get me started about what's going on in the Middle East. But I can't do anything about all that. And just bitching about it isn't going to help anybody. So I'm going to stay focused and talk about the things where I might be able to do a tiny little bit of good. And that's the best I can do. And first and foremost, I'm going to try and take care of myself, my needs, and those closest to me. And that's all any of us can do. It's all any of us can do. I'm recording this late this morning because I did want to go to Sam's Club first thing. I did want to be, and I was, the first one through the door. They had about a half a dozen, and I'll talk more about this later, but they did have some marked down ribeyes. They weren't, the prettiest looking things as far as the cut, but there was a lot of meat there, and I said, for the price, okay. So I bought a couple flats of them. Wasn't crowded. I was going to videotape it, but I said, no, you know what? I don't have time to fool around this morning. When I get home, I'll just lay it all out and go over what I bought and talk about my observations on the shopping trip. So I hope you'll find that video interesting, and I will have it out, I would say, 3 o'clock at the latest today, Eastern time. It's just a little after 9 o'clock now, so it's a couple hours later than I usually do these things, and you'll notice it's a little brighter outside. I did record one of these at 7 o'clock this morning. But as I have so often in the past, gotten into one of those rants, which I don't think was suitable for prime time, and I never really finished it. I have a number of those that end with a little profanity right before I hit the stop recording button. And maybe someday I'll put out a blooper reel of some of that stuff, but I'm not proud of it. But if you're at all a thinking, feeling human being, passionate about honesty, you can't help but just get upset. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I've been blessed with a passionate personality. I'm not one of these type B, stoic, sociopathic type personalities that isn't affected by things that are angering and are emotional in nature. And I don't think I'd want to be cold-hearted. So I react to things like that. And I had just gotten up, watched the news for a while this morning, and was just outraged at the barrage of one crisis after another that has developed just in the last 2 or 3 days. And then you throw the election on top of it. No wonder we're so stressed out. No wonder we're so stressed out. My answer is come out here and relax. Talk to my friends and try not to talk about those stressful subjects. Sometimes it's not easy. So I said, you know what? The hell with this morning. I'm just going to Sam's Club. I'll miss this morning. I always reserve the right to not put out one of these morning talks. But I got back early. I mean, it didn't take me long to go shopping. I got back, put it all away. And I said, nah, let me just knock out a quick Good morning to everybody. And just a reminder that for those of you in the private community, I will see you tonight, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the private community live stream, where we always have a great time. And this week I'm going to welcome 25 new members that were gifted on Tuesday night. And I hope to see some of those people. I hope to see some of those people show up in the chat at least, and maybe even join us on the panel so that we can get to know you and you can get to know us. I'm really looking forward to that tonight, and that's really about all I want to say now. So I'll keep the rest of it about my little shopping adventure for the video this afternoon, and I will see all of you tonight on the private community live stream. And until then, my friends, enjoy the music on the way out while you take the rest of the day off and eat meat.